آزادی بیان،
言论自由，
free speech.
I talked about how one explanation for women's silence might be the prevalence of certain rape myths or the perception that women don't have the authority to be in charge of what happens to their own bodies. Now, you are asking about the role of pornography in that, and I have argued that it is an empirical question whether pornography may contribute to the prevalence of certain rape myths. In the definition that was put forward by Andrea Dworkin and Catherine McKinnon, pornography is the graphic, sexually explicit subordination of women in pictures or words that also includes women dehumanized as sexual objects, things or commodities, enjoying pain or humiliation or rape. And then there are many other conditions. But this gives you a sense that it's a particular sort of pornography, as we normally think of it, that's at issue here. There might be a huge amount of pornography that doesn't subordinate women. I'm only concerned with the sort that does. There is data, I understand, that people's normative views do change in response to pornography consumption. It's well enough established empirically that liberal political philosophers like Ronald Dworkin concede that there is evidence that pornography, as he puts it, weakens attitudes towards sexual violence. So it's not simply a story about pornography as causing certain harms. It's a story about pornography as a piece of authoritative speech. If it did not contribute to the prevalence of rape myths or the undermining of women's authority over their own bodies, then the argument that I was giving about pornography wouldn't be the same. People tend to focus on censorship, and I myself have said that for certain material, censorship would be justified, but that's not the only possible strategy. You could have something that was equivalent to zoning. You could have a system that was more careful about making sure that you only got to see pornography if you really wanted it. So that's an opt-in system rather than an opt-out system. It's very curious because liberals talking about pornography a couple of decades ago took for granted that zoning was a shared premise. Of course we should have zoning. Of course we should make sure that pornography isn't there for people who don't want to see it. In practice now, partly as a result of the work of those liberal political philosophers, pornography has become ubiquitous and zoning has gone completely out of the window, partly as a result of their work, partly, of course, as a result of technology changes and the internet.
آزادی بیان،
言论自由，
Free speech.